Okay, welcome to our P3 futures and Forex forecast for the week of September the 11th. This will be a little bit shorter one. I haven't been feeling well at the end of this week into the weekend. And so just going to touch base on the basic and some go quickly through these markets here. We'll start with the all-important stock futures, the ES. And we can see that this week we have pulled back down. This was last Friday up here. And we can see that we've come down, and then today we made an attempt to go back to the upside. We were kind of expecting a pullback here. If you look at a weekly chart, you'll see that the weekly chart is an inside bar, and so we could probably expect a little bit more bullishness, some back and forth in here, but September is typically weak for stocks in September. So maybe next week we'll get a little bit of movement back to the upside, a little bit down, but I am expecting maybe a retest of these 43.50. So just keep very clear on what we're looking at. I'll be looking at Thursday's low and maintaining for a short. That's what I'll be looking for there. But if we get back up to these 4,500 levels, I want to see more strength, more breadth, more strength in the advanced decline line before breaking this high. If that does not happen, I'll be looking for shorts the week after. So depending on what happens next week, it could easily come to Thursday's low, or like I said, if it comes up back up to these highs and the advanced decline does not, that's going to be a sell signal to go back down. Now, if this advanced decline line is really strong before it breaks this area, then we'll be looking to go to these highs. But again, September is a hard month, so we'll wait and see what happens next week for the stock market. Our precious metals market that we love to trade, silver and gold. Silver, we expected silver to come down, and boy, did it come down. I'm glad that I did not touch this. Now, I should have gone short on this, but I was not in this downward move. Now, I made a little bit of money on a little bit of a bounce, but it's still down in this area. And if we pull up our price open interest volume, you can see that this is similar to the advanced decline line. This green line is the price open interest volume. It is much weaker than what the prices suggest here. And you can see that we are oversold on the Williams percent R, and we are in a buy zone for the sentiment. But let me just show you that sometimes we get, oh, well, we should see a bounce here at this point. But if you look over here in the past, right here is where we were in a similar position. We were in an oversold and we were in a buy zone on the sentiment, and the market still came down before it finally found some buyers. I'm not saying that that's going to happen this time, but it's something we need to be very careful of, because we could easily come back down to these lows in September. And with what we see currently with this, I want to really wait for, like we saw over here, kind of a formation of a new low and then a break and a come back down. Exactly, I'm going to be looking exactly like we did a couple weeks ago, kind of a formation of the low, come down to these levels, an attempt to go higher, come down, and a chance to get in for another move to the upside. I think we're still bullish in the metals, but you can see we've been in this chop zone for a while. So I could see this coming down, extending a little bit lower before attempting a move back to the upside. But we'll be careful on this as well. For gold, the gold market is stronger than silver at this point. You can see that it was weaker than silver. Silver held these lows. But the fact that silver has come down all the way near to these lows, currently gold is a little bit stronger, and it tried to get up a little bit higher today. I'm still going to be looking for the precious metals to come down a bit in the months of September. Typically, the dollar has really good strength in September, being the end of the fiscal year. So keep your powder dry, see if these markets come back down to these lows. Crude oil is another market I've been looking to short. We haven't got a signal yet, but we may get an attempt to go higher and then get a formation of a 3-bar reversal. We've been in this overbought zone for a while, and we did get this sell. Here's another example of the sentiment. It doesn't always work. We had a sell right here and at these highs, and it's broken those highs. So I am expecting it to come back and test 84. So I'm looking for a sell signal and just have my targets right there at 84. That's it. That's what I'm going for on this market. Soybeans is another market I've been looking to stay long. It's been steadily coming down, and we've had a formation of a lower high and a lower low. So we'll just have to keep our powder dry and see if we can get back up to these levels here. I got stopped out on a break-even trade there. So the wheat market, the soybean market, we're definitely waiting for a buy signal, and that means getting above trend lines. And you'll see the same thing on the wheat market if you pull that up. Let's jump over to our Forex. Hey, like I mentioned, with the dollar in September being very strong, we saw that even with some of the weakness here, the dollar recovered very nicely on the Japanese yen today. I'm expecting more bullishness in this market this month. And you can see that we've got a couple hundred pips left to go, potentially back up to these highs. Oh, that was bad. Back up to these highs in the 149, 150 area. So I'm going to be looking for that long continuation and any break and then pull back and maintaining above Friday's low is bullish. We mentioned last week that we were bearish on the pound dollar and the euro dollar. You could see that's exactly what we got. That's all we got this week. So that was very successful. We got some good trades in following that. We are getting into an overextended with a strong ADX, but I think Monday we might try to tempt higher like it did today, and then some more selling in this market. Now we could get a really strong move back to this old low, and maybe up even a little higher back to these lows up here, maybe to the 126 level. But I'll be excited for that to stock the short side again for the month of September, looking for strength of the dollar and against all the other pairs. The euro dollar is in a similar boat. It's getting closer to these lows. I expected it to get a little bit lower, but we had a nice recovery today and then a fallback. So again, we'll be looking for breaking of Thursday's low on Monday, probably an attempt to go higher, and then a break of that will probably test back down into this maybe 0630 area, possibly even lower, depending on how strong the dollar is next week. But we'll be stocking shorts. Any attempt to go higher, we'll wait for a test of a support and then a formation of a 3-bar reversal back to the downside, kind of a formation of a lower high. Like we get these lower highs. We'll probably get another one next week before we start to go lower. Those are the only markets I'm going to be really looking at. And since I'm not feeling great, I appreciate you joining me in this condensed forecast for next week. I wish you all the best with your trading. If you have any additional questions or any other markets you'd like me to look at with these forecasts and with some of these indicators that I use with Larry Williams, please let me know. Email me at kevin@tradingmoneysystem.com. If not, good luck with your trading this week. Appreciate your participation, and we will talk to you next week. Take care.